Hey guys, so I've got this chassis painted up. It's sitting flat on the floor. I'm gonna start reassembling this week. And I think to start, I'm gonna do all of the components that go basically inside the tunnel. So cables, shift rod, and then go from there and see what I can get done. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna try to get done, and I don't even know if I can, I don't know if I can do this on camera. Inside the this is where the shifter mounts on the tunnel. Inside here, this thing hanging down, that's where the shift rod goes through. This white bushing is supposed to be in there, and it's got this plastic ring that goes over it. Sometimes they come with the ring, sometimes they don't. The one I bought happened to not come with it, so I had to go find a ring. Sometimes these are real easy and they go in nice. You're supposed to be getting this ring on this slot out here. Sometimes they're an absolute bear to get in there. There's not a lot of room. I've had them where I've had to put them in and then get the ring in. I've had them where, apparently I get really lucky on that. So that just snapped right in. Hopefully the rod will slide through it now, the shift rod. Sometimes the shift rod won't slide through after. Sometimes you have to put these on the rod. That's what I was just gonna start saying. And then slide the rod in and then jam it in there with the ring on and then put the ring on after. There's a lot of different ways to get that in there, and sometimes it just takes a couple of tries to get things working. But that seemed like it went. I'm gonna throw some grease in it. I didn't think it would go that easy. Usually they don't. But I'll get a little bit of grease in there. And I think, so that's the first thing that we're putting back on this chassis, is that piece there. So I think we will next see if I can get you in an angle to see it. But I think we'll try to get the shift rod to go through that. And the shift rod, if I can get everything lined up here, hopefully, the shift rod will go through this hole right in the front and should slide all the way back into there. Let me get reset and I'll bring you right back. All right, here we go. So here's the shift rod. This is obviously, I don't know if you can see that. This one's obviously shortened because it's a Dune Buggy. This chassis was cut down 10 inches from stock. So the problem with that is this may or may not, going through here, this may or may not actually reach. I may lose the shift rod before I actually get to the bushing. With a stock Beetle, it'll reach and you'll still have some of it sticking out here. With this, that may or may not be the case. Oh, it just reaches. I know shorter Dune Buggies, typical Dune Buggies are shortened like 14 1/4. And it usually makes it pretty difficult to get that because you lose, this thing would already be inside of here when you're at this point trying to get it in. Let me get you at a better angle to see this, because this shift rod is already popping through this bushing, which is fantastic. They don't usually go this easily. Let's see if I can get it so you can see it happen, or you can see the bushing pop out, one or the other. So we're in, and I am going to try to slide this back nice and gently. Oh, and I think we're in. There's a little section on this shift rod where it was welded, and it was cut and shortened, obviously, to to match the shortened pan. And I think we're at that spot right now. So I'm going to throw a little bit more grease in here just to get past that area and see if we can slide it through. I'm starting to lose this end into the tunnel. So what I may have to do is get the pliers. I may have to get a pair of pliers, and you grab that and kind of you can slide it back. Is this what I usually use? Nope. All right, so you can usually get onto this thing. Rotate it so that you're not running into stuff on this end, which I still am. Let's see if that'll do it. Yeah, that should get me at least another 6 inches or so. Moving. So it's at a point where I can't reach it through the front anymore. I do need to rotate the whole shaft around again. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, that should probably work. I can actually grab it through the parking brake hole. My bushing is still in place, which is amazing. It's probably the easiest one of these I've ever done. Put my light back on here. At least with a buggy anyway. Usually a Beetle you can reach it for a lot longer, so it tends to be a little bit easier. Let me get some more grease up close to the bushing so it'll slide through hopefully a little easier. Pull out the light because we're hitting it, and there we are. So here, you can rotate this. You can probably grab it from the back and do it. There we go. So that's where our shifter is going to sit. And here's our shift rod with the bushing. Everything's all set on it, ready to go. So that's it. That's how they are supposed to go in. And like I said, with a Beetle, it usually goes a lot easier. But you see back in here, there's the rod all the way to the back so that this can come up. Get in there without blocking the light. Come up, attach to the transmission. Transmission will come in right through here, like when we took it apart with a coupler in there. I was able to grab it a little bit through here, but that's it. That's all there is to it. There's a plate that's got to go on here next. I forgot to order a gasket for it, so I got a sheet of rubber. I'm going to cut a piece right now. I'll get that plate on, and then I think I'm ready to try to mount the front end back on. I'll bring you back for that. All right, so I'm about ready to try to see if I can get this front axle in. They can be a little tricky. It's worse with a car on it. I bolted this plate back up. I just made a quick rubber gasket to go behind it out of just rubber roofing. I have a roll of it hanging around from a job, and it's come in handy for gaskets quite a bit. On this axle, I've already painted the back side of it. I had it laying flat on the floor. And I painted the back side of it with just a black Rust-Oleum, just cheap brush paint. Come out pretty good though. But I wanted to do the back side of it and the underside of the tie rods and all that type of stuff, so that when it's in there, I'm not trying to paint around it. And then the back actually does have paint. This is all like the better black paint that I used on the chassis. I've checked all the holes to make sure that there was no crap in them. And they should be good to go. Hopefully I don't have too much resistance in there. I say that and then I see a big piece of junk in there. All right. So it's just 4 bolts. The biggest problem I have going right now is the passenger side wheel. The brake drum is off and on, locked up. So sometimes it'll let me roll it and sometimes it won't. I have a floor jack underneath the middle of the chassis so that I can raise and lower it, because I'm going to try to do this so that I'm not killing my back trying to get it in there as much as possible. So I'm going to lower the chassis just a bit to try to get this started on there, because we're pretty high. The jack does have a rag on it as well to try to save this paint that I just did. I think I'm actually going to go lower than that even. And I'll come back up with it if I need to. But basically what you got to do is you got to get this back, and you got to get the tie rods over. If this wheel would roll a little better, this whole thing would be easier. But you got to get the tie rods up over, and then I believe my fuel hose, my fuel line is going to be in the way also. So let's see if we can do this without scratching everything up too bad. Get that side up. To shift that way quite a bit. Okay, let me shove a rag in here because I'm already starting to scratch that. So, and I think I gotta go up just a hair. Start out of here. Just fighting me a bit. I'm not able to get it as close as I need it to be. All right. Now I'll get one bolt started. Get this one in. Well, that was a bit more of a chore than I would have liked. But it's on there, so we'll torque it on. I checked the book before I started this video just to make sure, but the torque spec's 36 foot-pounds on this, which is seems pretty low, but that's what they're saying. There we go. Oops. Okay, so that's it. Front end's back on. I'll paint this side. I got to pull apart some stuff on there anyway. But I'll get that side all painted. I got to pull the wheels off. I got to get the brakes all apart because we've got disc brakes going on. Pretty good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching me struggle to get this thing on here. I know it probably looked ridiculous, but sometimes that happens, you know. So thank you.